if God's so good, then why does he use evil? Like, not like that. I mean, like how bad things happen and then he uses it.
Mm-hmm.
Why does he do that instead of just make it work with all good?
Okay, well, that's because of us. We're the X factor in that equation. If God were to just come and eliminate all evil, you wouldn't be here, 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 you wouldn't be here. I would basically be the only one left.
But what
No.
if he just took the evil out? Like,
If he just took evil out and
before we were even born, like he knew that Adam and Eve were going to eat from that. Then
Yep.
why didn't he prevent that?
Because we have to have choice. Love, we talked about this with David a couple weeks ago. Love that is not a choice is against the law for a reason. Okay, and the reason why we look at love that doesn't have a choice as certainly should be against the law, it's because in each of us we have this standard that's set by God's nature. Okay, Romans chapter 1, Romans chapter 2 talk about how he's written his law on our hearts. We, by nature, even without a code written down on stone or on parchment, we have this kind of innate sense of what's right and what's wrong. And we know that it's wrong to force somebody to love us. There's a guy named Jeffrey Dahmer 35 years ago, who would literally give people lobotomies. Like, he would cause their brain, what he would do, he'd drill a hole in their skull and pour acid in their brain so that their brain didn't function anymore. And he could keep them and make them love him. Is that the kind of God you want to worship? Right? Well, if you were created only to love God, you wouldn't really have a choice. You would be worshiping that God, but that wouldn't be real love. But in order for God to create people that are like him, he had to create people who have choice. And those people would have the free will to do what they want with their choice, either love and submit to our amazing King and Creator, or try to put us in the place of his authority wrongly. Does that make sense? Okay, so the good news is it would be easier for us. The reason why we struggle with this is because for us, it would be easier to just make things exactly the way that we want them to, and they would never change after that. So we build, cuckoo clocks, right, with precision gears and stuff, and they work exactly the way that we want them to. Or, people who make chocolate, like who are really good at making chocolate, they know exactly what temperature to melt that chocolate so that it tempers correctly, right? Precision engineering in cars, people who are master painters, they paint exactly what they want, and those things don't have a choice, and we love those things because they can't go wrong, right? And then when they go wrong, we hate them, right? But that's not creating things that do exactly what we want every time we turn them on. That's not a reflection of our power. That's a reflection of our weakness. It would be much more powerful if we were able to take things that could go wrong and still have such an intricately woven plan that those choices, your choices, bad things that might happen to you, a car accident where you lose your legs or whatever, a meteor falling from the sky and destroying your home, or your dog eating your cat, like any of those things that just randomly happen, those things do not upset God's ultimate plan. So where we require, in order to have control over things. We require things to be perfectly our way. God doesn't require things to be perfectly his way, the way that he would want it done or the way that he would do it. Our choice and our sin and the bad and evil circumstances in our world do not upset his plan. That's why Romans chapter 8, verse 28 says, all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay, one more.
Does God know what's going on, know what's going on, he died on the cross, knowing what the people were doing, he knew what they were doing was wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Does he plan for that, or does he...
Oh, he knows time, all time, and everything that will ever happen in time from the beginning to the end. The Bible is 100% clear about that.
Okay, one more question.
One more question. Go for it.
Okay. Do you think the bad things that happen in our life is God's plan?
I don't think that God caused those things to happen. There are Christians who disagree with me. And I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with them. I just disagree with them. I don't think that God causes evil things to happen. I don't think God caused Hitler to kill 6 million Jews and start a world war that killed hundreds of millions more, caused untold amounts of suffering throughout the world that still, the echoes of that still exist today, right? I don't think God causes, somebody to lie or cheat or steal or murder or have hate in their heart. God doesn't cause those things, okay? But I think God is aware that they are going to happen from the moment that he created the world, right? He stands outside of time. So in the same way that I can see everything laid out on this table, right? All the chips, the Bible, the pens, the papers, the cookies, the peeps, right? I can see everything on that table. If I was an ant on that table, kind of scurrying about looking for food, I would only be able to see so much at a time. We are the ant scurrying through time. So we only see time as it's moving past us. God is up here, and he can see all of it laid out, right? And he works all things together, that things that he knows are going to happen. He works those things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. Does that make sense? So I think that can give you some confidence in how good our King is, right? That even though bad things do happen, he is so in control, not causing it. He's not bad, right? But he's so in control that maybe I die of a heart attack, but you guys at my funeral decide to make a pact to live for Jesus because you know that that's the thing that I wanted the most out of my life, to see you guys follow Jesus. God will use the tragedies in our life if we love him and are called according to his purpose. Does that make sense? Okay, all right.